To see the world as it truly is not a blessing handed down from the heavens. It is a weight that bends the spine and sharpens the edges of the soul. Most people live in a fog thick enough to suffocate thought, and they welcome it. They cling to comforting illusions as if they were the very air they breathe. They need stories, myths, and half-truths to make sense of their lives. And when you pierce those illusions with the blade of clarity, you do not become their savior. You become their enemy. Because to them, truth is not liberation. It is terror. It shatters the fragile scaffolding that holds up their identity, their beliefs, and their sense of safety. And so, they will recoil from you, avoid you, or seek to silence you altogether. When your vision stretches further than the eyes of those around you, you are no longer one of them. You become an outsider. The conversations that excite them bore you, the things that inspire them leave you unmoved, and the fears that control them no longer bind you. You walk among them but are not truly with them, and in time they will feel it. The invisible thread that ties people together, shared blindness, will be missing between you and them. They will sense that you are not bound by the same illusions, and for that reason alone, they will treat you with a subtle, instinctive suspicion. The more you see, the less you can pretend. And yet, pretending is what makes people feel safe around one another. If you fail to mirror their illusions, you risk becoming a mirror they cannot bear to look into. Your presence alone will unsettle them, because it forces them to confront the cracks in their own beliefs. You may not speak the truth aloud, but the way you move, the way you observe, and the way you choose your words will give you away. They will notice that you are not swept up in the same emotions as they are, and they will wonder why. They will whisper to each other that you are cold, distant, perhaps even dangerous. In their eyes, you will not be someone who sees more. You will be someone who sees wrong. They will frame your clarity as arrogance, your independence as rebellion, and your detachment as a threat to the harmony they cherish. This is the loneliness of perception. The more you understand, the fewer people you can share it with. And if you are not careful, this isolation will make you reckless. You will feel the urge to shake them awake, to drag them into the light, to force them to see what you see. But the moment you do, you will find that they do not thank you. They resent you. They will retreat deeper into their illusions and turn their backs on you, sometimes with quiet distance, sometimes with open hostility. The one who sees too much is never welcomed for long among those who see too little. Truth is not an innocent thing. It is a force that does not simply illuminate, it destroys. It strips away the fabric that holds together the stories, hierarchies, and beliefs upon which people build their lives. When you speak it, or even silently embody it, you do more than challenge ideas. You destabilize the order that keeps people comfortable, compliant, and predictable. And the moment your clarity becomes visible, those who benefit from the current order will see you not as a man of insight, but as an enemy of stability. Power is rarely built on truth. It is built on carefully crafted illusions, narratives, repeated until they become indistinguishable from reality. Those in positions of influence know this. They survive and thrive because the masses believe what they are told to believe. When you pierce that illusion, you are not merely sharing knowledge. You are dismantling the invisible scaffolding that holds their authority together. And once they sense that you can see the threads behind the curtain, they will not wait for you to expose them publicly. They will move to neutralize you before your vision becomes contagious. To those living in illusions, truth feels like an attack. It threatens their sense of self, their purpose, and the meaning they have worked their entire lives to protect. Imagine a ruler who has built his reign on fear of an external enemy, only for you to reveal that the enemy never existed. Do you expect him to thank you for your insight? He will not. He will curse you, strip you of your voice, and convince the crowd that you are the real danger. For you have done more than challenge a belief. You have undermined the foundation on which he stands. It is not only the powerful who react this way. Ordinary people will defend their illusions with the same ferocity as kings defend their thrones. To them, truth can feel like a blade pressed to their skin, cold, sharp, and threatening to cut away the comfort they cannot live without. They will resist it, even if it means clinging to falsehoods that poison them slowly. And if your truth threatens the collective story of a group, you will find yourself branded a traitor, even if you once stood among them as an ally. This is why those who see clearly often learn to guard their vision in silence. To declare the truth openly, without power to shield yourself, is to invite destruction. You must understand that truth does not exist in a vacuum. It exists in a battlefield where perception is the only weapon that matters. The moment you challenge the official version of reality, you step onto that battlefield, whether you are ready or not. And in that arena, the truth alone will not protect you. In fact, it will make you a target, one that must be eliminated before your insight spreads beyond your reach. To see beyond the surface is to carry a burden that most will never understand. It is not simply the possession of knowledge. It is the weight of knowing what others cannot or will not see. PJOUTTERNSTICIS in behavior, motives hidden behind polite words, and the silent mechanics of power that operate beneath every human interaction. This sight can never be undone. Once the curtain is pulled back, you cannot force yourself to believe in the illusions that others find so comforting. And yet, this clarity does not automatically grant you power. In fact, without the discipline to wield it, it can leave you vulnerable, isolated, and hunted. Vision without control is a double-edged blade, one that cuts just as easily through its bearer as through its target. To possess deeper understanding is to stand on a high peak, where the air is thin and the climb treacherous. From there, you can see the landscape for what it is, where the roads lead, where the traps are set, where the storms are forming in the distance. But those below cannot see what you see, and when you point out the dangers, they may laugh, mock, or turn against you entirely. They will not follow you simply because you are right. The truth is only persuasive to those prepared to hear it, and most are not. This is where the burden becomes dangerous. The temptation to reveal everything at once can be overwhelming. You want to tear away the masks, expose the corruption, warn others of the wolves that stand among them. But this is the fastest way to ensure your vision is never heeded. To reveal too much too soon is to alert those who thrive in the shadows that you can see them clearly. And once they realize you can pierce their disguises, they will not wait for you to act. They will act first, cutting you down before you can take a single step toward changing anything. To bear such sight is also to live in a constant state of internal tension. You see the flaws in leaders, the cracks in systems, the selfishness behind noble words. You watch people fall into traps you knew were coming, unable to warn them without exposing yourself. You learn that timing is as important as truth. You cannot strike when you first see the opening. You must wait until the ground beneath your feet is firm enough to withstand the counterattack. This burden shapes you. It makes you cautious in your speech, deliberate in your movements, patient in your decisions. You become a student of silence, revealing only fragments of what you know, never the whole picture. Because once the full measure of your sight is revealed, you will no longer be underestimated, and the moment your enemies stop underestimating you is the moment they begin plotting your removal. To carry this vision, then, is to walk a knife's edge between revelation and concealment, always aware that one misstep could turn the gift of seeing into the cause of your downfall to possess. Insight is not enough. The art lies in deciding when to speak and when to keep your mouth shut. The moment you reveal what you know, you forfeit the advantage of invisibility. Once others are aware of the extent of your perception, they will begin to measure their words, mask their intentions, and shield their actions from your sight. They will adapt to you, making it harder for you to read them and harder for you to move without resistance. Silence, therefore, becomes not just a habit, but a weapon. Strategic silence is not the same as passivity. It is an active choice, a deliberate act of concealment. It allows you to collect information without revealing your own position, to study the moves of others without alerting them to your presence. A man who speaks too soon is like a hunter who shouts before the prey steps into his line of sight. He may possess the finest bow, but the quarry will vanish before the arrow can be released. Most people reveal themselves in their need to be heard, to prove their intelligence, or to win admiration. They spill their thoughts without realizing that every word gives away a piece of their strategy. The disciplined observer knows that speech is a currency too valuable to spend carelessly. He withholds his thoughts until they can be delivered at a moment that tilts the balance of power decisively in his favor. Silence also disarms opponents. In a world where everyone rushes to fill the air with noise, the one who withholds words becomes unreadable. People begin to speak more in your presence, mistaking your quiet for ignorance or indifference, and in doing so, they reveal far more than they realize. This flow of unguarded information becomes a resource that can be used later, when the timing is right to act. But the greatest advantage of strategic silence is that it buys you time. It allows you to assess the full battlefield before committing to a position. It prevents you from making enemies too soon, from alerting rivals to your intentions, and from giving those who fear your insight a reason to move against you prematurely. In the shadows of silence, plans can grow without interference, alliances can form unseen, and moves can be prepared that, when finally executed, appear sudden and unstoppable to see further than others is only the beginning. What matters is what you do with that sight. Insight that remains idle is nothing more than a private torment, a collection of truths that gnaws at you but changes nothing. The difference between those who are destroyed by their vision and those who rise because of it lies in their ability to transform perception into influence. Clarity in the hands of the unprepared is a candle in the wind. In the hands of the disciplined, it is a torch that can burn through any obstacle. The first step in turning vision into power is control over your own impulses and over the way you present what you know. The temptation to act too quickly is the enemy. Acting before your position is secure turns your insight into a signal flare, drawing the eyes of those who would rather see you silenced. To convert vision into lasting influence, you must first shape it into a tool, something that can be used to sway allies, disarm opponents, and alter the course of events without drawing unnecessary attention to yourself. Every advantage your vision grants you must be directed toward the accumulation of leverage. Leverage is the ability to move others without revealing the full extent of your strength. It may come from controlling information, from predicting outcomes before they occur, or from influencing decisions in ways that seem natural to those being guided. When you hold leverage, you can act decisively without appearing threatening, and in doing so, you extend your reach without exposing your hand. Turning vision into power also demands patience. Influence is not built in a single decisive strike, but in a series of moves that slowly shift the balance of control in your favor. This means holding your knowledge until the right moment, allowing events to unfold in a way that makes your intervention seem inevitable rather than forced. A well-timed revelation can tilt an entire situation to your advantage, whereas an untimely one can destroy the position you have worked to build. In the end, vision alone is not enough. The world is full of people who saw clearly but acted poorly, whose insight became a curse rather than a crown. To avoid their fate, you must treat your perception as a form of currency, spent only when it buys you something greater in return. When wielded with discipline, vision ceases to be a burden and becomes the very foundation upon which lasting power is built. To see what others do not is to walk a narrow path lined with both danger and opportunity. It is a gift that isolates you, a truth that threatens the powerful, a burden that demands restraint, a vision that must be guarded in silence, and a tool that can either elevate you or destroy you. The difference lies in mastery over your impulses, over your timing, and over the way you transform insight into action. Those who fail to understand this are consumed by the very clarity they possess, while those who learn to wield it shape the world in their image.